Okay, so I've already sanitized the table and greased the 9x9. And so now our first step, well, I've also already preheated the oven to 350 degrees. So now our next step is to take our oats, our cinnamon, our brown sugar, our sifted flour. So I've already preheated the oven to 350 degrees. I have greased this here pan, and I have already sanitized the table and washed my hands. So now we will be taking cinnamon, oats, brown sugar, sifted flour, nutmeg, and we will mix that all into a bowl. So first I'm going to get the oats. This recipe calls for a fourth of a cup, so I'm just going to take my fourth of a cup. And I'm just going to kind of overfill this. And since I don't have a leveling spatula, I'm just going to use this here butter knife. I'm just going to, until it's all nice and level. Like so. Now I'm just going to pour that in here. And I'm done with my oats. Next, I'm going to measure out the cinnamon, and that calls for 3/4 teaspoon. And I can level this on the inside. So that's what I'm going to do. So 1, 2, 3. So now we're done with the cinnamon. I'm going to move on to the brown sugar. And for the brown sugar, it calls for 3/4 a cup. So I'm just going to take it out the bag. I am simply going, I've already packed it down, but I'm going to pack it down some more just so I can get it as packed as it needs to be. Now if it's really packed down, it should come out onto your hand in the shape of the cup. If it even wants to come out the cup. Mine is having quite a hard time even coming out. Okay, so now you see it's in the shape of the cup, so we know that that's good. I'm just going to put that in there. Now I'm going to do the next one. So I'm just going to scoop my brown sugar again. make sure that I get it leveled. I'm just gonna pack down my sugar. I've already started a little bit, so I'm just gonna pack it down even some more, just so I can make sure that I am getting it in there just perfect, the way it should be. This is what it looks like. And now I'm just going to, well, I want to just pack it down one more time to make sure I'm getting. Now let's and there you see another nice little square, circle. So that's my second one. I'm doing 1/4 a cup, so now I just need one more. Now I just need to continue finishing up my packing it down, just so nice and good. Now another perfect circle, as you can see. Just gonna drop that in there. Now I am done with the sugar. So I've already done cinnamon, oats, brown sugar. Now let's do some nutmeg. Again, this is just like the cinnamon. All I have to do is put it in the container and level it off, just like the thing has me do. Okay, now I'm gonna do my next one. And now my last one. So now I have finished doing my nutmeg as well, and we shall move on to the sifted flour. So for the sifted flour, I'll need a spare bowl. So I'm just going to put this one to the side temporarily. I'm going to find a sifter. I should have done that previously, but didn't come to my mind. Well, we'll take a short break while I look for the sifter. Okay, I'm back. I found my sifter, strainer, whatever you really want to call it. And now I am just going to pour some flour in here, like so. And now I'm just gonna just allow that flour to just sift. And when you're doing this, you're just making it nice and airy. Now, it's important to remember to sift before you measure your flour out. Yeah. And we are going to need a half a cup of sifted flour. So I'm just going to put some more in here. Oh boy, I'm making quite a mess. I'm just going to start sifting again. Give me 2 seconds. So then you're going to just continue to sift this like so. Okay, so now we have completely sifted the flour. As I was doing it, I noticed that it kind of like would make like a little light mountain shape, but that's just an extra detail. So now we need 1/2 a cup, and you just are supposed to just so now that, so the reason why we're using a spoon to put this in here, even though we could just like scoop it in, is because if you do that, you risk like undoing what you just did by sifting it. So we're just gonna keep it nice and airy and fluffy. Okay, now that's all leveled out, I'm just gonna put my 1/2 a cup sifted flour straight in there. No. Love you too. So, now that we've gotten the sifted flour, so, oh boy, don't know what he's doing in here. That's not where he's supposed to be. So now that we've done this, we have the brown sugar, we have the oats, we have the sifted flour, we have the cinnamon, and we have nutmeg. Now, I'm just gonna put that aside for a moment. The next thing you will need is 6 tablespoons of either butter or margarine. For this, I'm going to be using butter. So I'm going to use the stick method and just count the tablespoons until I get to 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now I'm just going to make a small indent with my knife on top of the paper, and then I'm going to unwrap it. That indent is still there, so then I'm just going to know that that's where I need to cut. And my butter is still quite hard from being in the freezer. It's okay, butter. You'll be fine. So now I'm just going to cut this into nice chunks so that it will be easier to melt. in the microwave. Okay. Now we need a safe microwavable dish. Luckily for me. Meh. I don't know if I want to use that one. Luckily for me, I have one right here. So I'm just going to put the butter chunks in here. Okay. So now that we've gotten the butter cut, we're just simply going to put it in the microwave to melt it. So while I melt it, I'm simply going to take my spoon and I am just going to mix all of our other ingredients together. It's crazy, the brown sugar is still quite hard from how good I packed it. Okay, now let's go see if our butter has been melted. So, as you can see, the butter is not completely melted. It's kind of half liquid and half solid. So I'm just going to put this back in for 15 more seconds. Now we're just going to So our butter is still more melted now, but there's still the solid spots. So we're just going to put it back in there again. And we're just going to continue mixing our other ingredients, trying to get those ingredients completely combined. So I've gotten them mixed and I've gotten completely melted butter, so I'm just going to pour that in here now. So, ooh, man, the smell of melted butter just reminds me of the movie theater. Okay, now if you can see this, so now this is what it looks like. And we are just simply going to mix this in. And just want to combine this thoroughly until the only thing I can really distinguish between is the sugar and the oats. And I think that's the way it should be. I'll show you again here. how that looks. Now, the next step is we are going to just put this up, and before I get started on the apples, I am going to simply pour this flour that we did not use back into the flour bag. Oh boy, I'm making a mess. And since I'm making a mess, I'm also going to wipe up my surface and put anything that I have already used and don't need away so that I can have plenty of space to do my next steps. Oop. That's not good. Okay, put the oats up. Put the knife up. We won't be needing a knife again. It's just a plain butter knife. So, cleaning my surface. Cleaning my surface. Okay. Now, with the apples. Boy. Well, I have both. Ooh, boy, this is a little bit not so clean. I have both like this to slice and core your apples, and I have a peeler, so that's what I'll be using today. I'm not using green apples, although these are tart apples, so they should be fine. So, when you peel, you don't want to peel in anything other than a bowl, not a trash can, because you could easily drop your apple in that trash can. Well, this is going to be a lot of pointless watching as I peel all 4 apples. So I will tune back in once they're all done. Okay, so I finished peeling all of our apples. So now I'm just going to okay. So then, once you get all the way down, it should look like that. Just take that nasty core out. Put the apples in here. If you have any apple parts with seeds, just take that out. Now, we have 2 more left to do. Oh boy, that was not a good. That was not a good position either. Okay. Oh boy. Huh. Ugh. We don't want that in there. Take that red core out. Left with some nice apples. And the last one. Okay. Oh, boy. Oh, Lord. Jesus. Oh, I probably shouldn't have done that. It's okay. Okay, so now I've done all the apples, and now I'm just going to take our previous mixture and just throw that all on the top. Now I'm just gonna, wow, it's quite warm. Okay. Now we're just going to throw on top of there, on top of there, on top of there, a little bit of that, 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 a little bit of that. Okay, kind of just want these apples kind of be a place where we can just throw all this on top of here. Although all this is right here, there's not really many apples over there. And then you're just gonna wanna dum 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 dum. Okay, so now that we've done that, we will just put this in the oven for 30 minutes. And now we shall wait. Okay, so it's been 30 minutes later, and I'm just about to take out the apple crisp. So I'm just gonna take a heating pad, get to the oven, and that is my apple crisp. Thank you.